This week, I'm exploring the topic of Netflix gaming and who it's actually for. So let's just go ahead together as a people and check it out. And welcome to another Sensational Sunday. I'm Mike, and this week we are breaking down why Netflix gaming is going to become a thing. It's not a thing yet. But some more news has come up about it this week. And that's why I want to talk about it, because it was announced around mid-July, and I don't even think I mentioned it in the news video at that time. At the time, I assumed, being that it was Netflix, it was going to be a streaming service, and apparently it's not. So let's go ahead and hop back in time really quick to around mid-July when they first announced it. So I found this Bloomberg article that was talking about it. The first thing they did was they brought on former Facebook/Oculus executive Mike Verdu to kind of run the games division. So they are going to be developing games, it seems, and they went ahead and hired somebody for it. So at least they're kind of serious about it, but also Google is kind of serious about having their own studio, and we see how that turned out. So there was a quote from a Verge article that was about a week after the initial announcement they were doing gaming, when they said that they're going to be focused on mobile gaming, and this kind of explains their side of why they're getting into gaming, according to what Netflix is saying. We're also in the early stages of further expanding into games, building on our earlier efforts around interactivity in our Stranger Things games. We view gaming as another new content strategy for us. Similar to our expansion into original films, animation, and unscripted TV, games will be included in Netflix subscription at no additional cost, except for, the annual price hikes. Oh, that's not in the quote, but I'm just adding that in there. Games will be included in members' Netflix subscriptions at no additional cost, similar to films and series. Initially, we'll be primarily focused on games for mobile device. We're as excited as ever about our movie and TV series, and we expect a long runway of increasing investment and growth across all of our existing content categories. But since we're nearly a decade into our push into original programming, we think the time is right to learn more about how our members value games. The article also mentions back in 2019, co-CEO of Netflix, Reed Hastings, mentioned that basically they compete more with Fortnite than they do with HBO. So basically they're about to make this big push in the game, seemingly mobile games, because like they mentioned in the quote, they already have the Stranger Things games that have been out there. And recently in Poland, they did their first test run with the Stranger Things games. So the way that is working right now, which this is very early, but it's a little bit janky. You have to go into the Netflix app. There is like a gaming section, and then if you click the link in the gaming section for the game, that takes you to the Google Play Store where you'll download the game, and then you sign in once you download with your Netflix credentials, and it works. Of course, right now this is only in Poland, and it's only for Android, and it's only the Stranger Things games, so we can't fully judge it based off of that. Then Netflix did clarify that by the time this actually rolls out, that it will be a way smoother experience than what they have going currently during their initial testing for some reason in Poland. The reason that I even mentioned this story is I was looking into it after I heard that they were testing it, and I hadn't even looked into it that much, honestly. I assumed that they were going to do a streaming service since they're a streaming platform, and then they could have something that would be accessible in one app instead of having to go to a separate app, or, even if you're on a browser, you could just play the game right there. But I guess they don't want to invest that much money into it, so they're doing mobile games right now. Honestly, I was thinking about who this is for, and I don't feel like it's for consumers. I don't feel like it's really for their customers. I feel like this whole Netflix gaming thing is literally just for them. They're trying to skirt around it and saying like, oh, we're looking into new media, our customers like gaming, which is true. I'm sure a lot of people who like Netflix like gaming, and the same thing with people who like HBO and people who like cars, and a lot of people around the world like gaming. So yes, it makes sense, but it doesn't make sense as far as offering these types of games with the service. Like basically they're going to be pumping out licensed games based on their property, licensed mobile games. And I don't know what the quality of these games are going to end up being. Apparently, the guy they hired also worked on Plants vs. Zombies for EA, Mike Verdu. So he has experience making some good mobile games, but what if they have like 10 series starting up and they all need games at the same time? Like, you can't tell me that these games are going to be of the highest quality. And the reason that I really say is for Netflix, I don't see where this would appeal to people. I'm sorry, like a lot of mobile games are just free. Like if most people are playing Fortnite except for like on iOS right now. But if a lot of people are playing Fortnite on their phone and it's a free game, of course there's in-game purchases, they're probably still gonna be playing Fortnite. Just because I like Stranger Things doesn't mean I want to go and like play the games. I mean, I'm sure they're fine. I've never actually played them myself, but the point is I don't want to tie like a property that I'm watching over to a game. Like I'm not watching this and be like, ooh, that would be cool if I can just go play a game. Oh, there's a mobile game, I'm gonna play it. Like that really rarely ever happens. I think that Netflix is just using this as a way to get content and content creators to come over to Netflix. As much as they can say like, oh, they're not affected by HBO and all these other streaming services popping up like Disney Plus. I mean, they're probably not affected by Apple TV Plus, but still, the point is, it's just another feather in their cap so they can talk to people creating new shows, or, you know, maybe someone's looking like Nickelodeon's looking to bring some shows over and they're like, oh, well, we might go over to HBO, for example. And they're just like, well, you know, we can do games. Like we can make a whole SpongeBob game for you along with the show and it'll be co-promoted with the show and blah, blah, blah. So it's really just another tool for them to compete against these other streaming services versus a service that they're actually making where people will want to use. At least that's what I think right now. Like, of course it's not out and I am being super judgmental, but I just don't buy that they're doing this service actually for consumers. It's just another marketing thing for them. And yeah, they did say that it's going to be included in your subscription, but like I mentioned, they've done these price hikes and I don't believe that they're investing all this money bringing in this guy to open studios and produce these games and develop them, that is not going to be reflected in a future price hike. So yeah, it's going to be included in the subscription, but it's not like the subscription ever stays the same price. I'm not buying it. I'm sorry, Netflix. I'm not buying that you're actually wanting to make quality games. I really think that you're just making this because you want to use it as a way to persuade content creators to come over to your platform versus going to one of the other 10,000 separate platforms that exist, like Peacock and HBO Max. There's too many. There's a lot right now. That's my take on the whole Netflix gaming thing. Let me know what you think. Like, if you play a lot of mobile games, would you be interested in like Netflix-based mobile games? Like more of them other than the Stranger Things ones that already exist. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. But if you enjoyed this video, then make sure to tell a friend, tell a coworker, like, share, and subscribe, and always do at least 2 things at the same time.